BP means Blueprism, and RP means robotics process automation. So what is if I ask you that you have to make an entry in a system, means in a web page or in a Windows application, you have to read data from an Excel sheet and put into a some kind of UI. It's easy for you when you are doing it once, twice, or 1 day or 2 day, but not when you have to do it 65 days, 24/7. And when you are doing it again and again, it's not only monotonous, you will make a lot of mistakes. So chances are high that you will make a lot of errors. But even if you will feel that your skills not you are not skilled to do such kind of manual things, you are supposed to do some kind of productive things. So what will come to your mind? That okay, when you have to do it again and again and again, it's a headache. So you will one thing can come into your minds: can there be a robot to do this and let me do whatever things I am supposed to do? Yes, to some extent. So it's not like that a robot will sit at your in front of your machine and do the thing. Like we have robots in manufacturing industries who will do all kind of manual jobs. It's not like that robot will sit at your desk. It would be a software robot. When we call it robotic process automation, whatever the process you are doing, that's you're automating that process. So process automation through robotics. So that's a complete picture with RPA, process automation using robotics. So if I read the very small definition of it, it's a technique to automate any business process through mimicking user action. It's not like that whatever robot is doing, you can't do it. It's not like that something happening internally, like you are doing something upload and everything. Whatever you are doing through UI, a robot will do the same thing. And the person who is mimicking this is called robot, or in short, we call it bot. So let me show you how it looks like. Consider I'm showing you one website where we need to fill our data. So let me open a website with the name rphchallenge.com. So can you see that I have to fill this 7 field. This is not a big job, right? But whenever I will refresh the page, can you see that position of text box are changing? So that's something that puts challenge here. And people who are very good in HTML and JavaScript, they can simply say that, oh, it's okay, they are changing their position, but their IDs are same. So at any moment I can find it using that ID. But here again is a challenge that that ID is a unique ID every time. So it's not that easy also. So if I ask you to fill this form, so I go it down, I can download one Excel sheet which looks like this Excel sheet. So I have to put this 10 rows into this page. I have to start a challenge, fill it, the next round, next round, next round. 10 times I have to do this. I think I can do, means anybody can do it, but how much time will he or she will take, how much accurate he or she is. Apart from that, 10 times it's acceptable. When it's, you can say 1 million times, it's difficult and it will not that easy. So if I ask a robot to do this, I have already one automated process. Let's try with that automated process. So let's see what does it do. It's opening a web page. It's going to a start button to start the challenge. So can you see that somebody is filling this form? It's not me. You might doubt that I am filling this form. Let's minimize this and let this happen. In the meanwhile, let's see what we have. If somebody is filling the form, let's see what we have next to do. So when robot is working on my behalf, I can do my productive things. Okay, so somebody is filling my form. So why RPA, robotic process automation? It's more productive than manual. If I have to fill the form, I might take 1 minute. It definitely, if his machine is doing it, if my program is not very much optimized, it might take more than 1 minute, but generally it should take less than 1 minute, or whatever the best time I can optimize it to. This is less prone to errors. If a human being is doing this again and again, our form is more prone to error, that I might be lazy, that I can fill first name at the place of last name at the first place. So I can jumble up the things. Third thing, cheaper. Why it's cheaper? When we are purchasing license, machines are working, it might look like that it's taking more money because you are investing on developers, IT, but finally you are removing that manual guys. In terms of BPO, you will say that you are saving FTEs. So whenever you are asking machine to do something and you are removing those manual guys, you are saying saving FTEs. Or one good thing about robotics is that return of investment, or ROI, is very fast. You can get ROI in very smaller duration, right? In few months you will find that you have got the money you have invested. Easily scalable. When you say that you have 10 people to train, that means your website or your application is expecting high load and you need more guys to fill the data. It's okay to call new guys and train them, but it's not very quick. Like with a snap of finger, you can't do it. It will take around few days to train them and few days for you to get them on the track. But when you are robots doing those things, it's easily scalable. In few minutes, or you can say maximum in an hour, you can get your multiple bots running. You have 10 bots, now you want 20 bots. Okay, let's put 20 machines. That's why RPA is there. So first let's see whether that guy did our job or not. Yes. So there were 10 times it was supposed to fill seven fields, so it has 70 fields to do. So it filled all those 70s in perfect manner without making any mistake, and it took only 76.5 seconds and to fill those 10 forms. So this is RP essentially. It's not like that always you have to fill a web form, but you are just mimicking the action of what a user is supposed to do. Tomorrow you might have to do this on a mainframe screen, on a Citrix screen, or might be a Windows screen, but this is what you are supposed to. So the guys who have joined first time, are you got a clarity what is RPA? Hello.
Yeah. Yes.
Yes.
Yes, we agree.
Yes.
So
Yes.
you got it. That something is there who is mimicking it. So in the entire course, what we are going to do? What are the various blocks available with Blueprism to share us? That how whatever I achieve now, in next few days you will achieve these things and something better than this. So this is the course to tell you how Blueprism can help you to achieve this kind of automation. Fine. So if you want more about it, I can go beyond it about the introduction, or shall I start? Just give me, just tell me, otherwise I will move ahead with the presentation to some extent more. But this is the only day we are covering presentation. Apart from that, we will just cover how tool.
No, we can start with the tool, I think. Very good.
So new guys, please let me know, because I don't have any problem to repeat it, but it is monotonous for the guys who are reading it, means who are learning this again and again.
Okay, you can start with the tool.
Okay, before that, I will let me check what I can give you some more glimpse about it. Okay, somebody might say that I have why I'm using this RP. It looks slower. It's taking 76 seconds at this moment. If I would have integrated directly, means finally this web page is saving somewhere in database and reading from Excel sheet. It has only 10 rows, and if I need to put those 10 rows in database, if I integrate through API, whether it's a web API or it's kind of web some kind of services, it will take hardly 1 second. Why not API integration? Why RPA? So I'm just telling you what's the difference. Why RPA at all? Why we are mimicking the action? Why not integrate directly? When we say RPA, it's faster in implementation. Like it will take not faster in execution, faster in implementation. It will take hardly 1 or 2 months to make this process up and running. But whenever you will integrate, you have to expose API from the other side, then integrate it. It will take some time. When it's faster in implementation, it's cheaper also. Switchable means at any moment that you found that API was not perfectly integrated, there are many flaws, there are many bugs or defects. So what should I do? Means there is no way to come back. When we say RPA, it's switchable. You find that your bot is not working in the perfect manner. Okay, let the guy do the job who was previously doing the job. And it requires less testing, because whenever I have something that is mimicking my actions, it's whatever the UI is already there. It has all kind of business rule validation already in place, whether some kind of you can say mandatory fields or some kind of validation of email and something. Those things are already there. But when we are doing through API, we have to put all those rules, and we might miss them also. So shall I replace RPA for everything? Not exactly. For whenever the load is high, like I have 10 millions of record to process every day or every hour, I can't go with RPA. I must go with API integration. When I say RPA, because it's taking, it means it's for low load and it's take time, so it's suitable but less productive. So introduction and all about Blueprism I will cover in the tool itself. So it has all the, means if you are coming from different background, you might be a fresher, you might be in an admin role in an IT company, you might be a business analyst. So if you are good in algorithms and everything, then you have something of developer kind of role here in Blueprism. For infrastructure, admin kind of role, and for business people, it's a analyst kind of role. All these things I will cover in the tool itself. So this is the architecture of Blueprism. Whatever means you saw at my screen, and the Blueprism, just blue window. So where it's not like that everything is at the client side. All the computers you can see in the lower side, these are the clients. They are connected in one database. So everything is being saved into one database. At any moment, whenever you are processing it, it's being retrieved from the database and finally being processed. So there are two kinds of topologies available with Blueprism. Number one, you are directly connecting with database. Number two, it's you are passing through an app server. Why this additional server? This is a security feature provided by Blueprism that you should not expose whatever the database connection strings and everything to client directly. There should be an intermediate server to shield them, nothing other than that. When we talk about Blueprism or RPA, what a Wikipedia, the definition suggests, it requires no or less coding. This Wikipedia says no coding, but without coding you can't achieve some kind of custom things. Then you might have to put other guy who will do the coding stuff and you will just write it. So if you are good, whenever you say custom coding, you will require basic skills of .NET like C#, VB.NET or J#. Nothing very fancy. Okay, so these are the certifications available because somebody told about certification. So it has AD01, APD01, ASD01, ARA01, ATA01, and AIA01. So for developers, first one AD01 developer. There is a condition for APD01, which is professional developer, that one must pass the AD01 and must have a gap of 6 months. Then ASD01, it's again as means the prerequisite for it is AD01 developer certification. Rest of them are independent. ROM architect is someone who is interested into business kind of role. He can do this. ROM means robotics operating model architect. Somebody who is interested in how to design the model for this process. Then we have technical architect and installation engineer. That's for admin guys. So that was a quicker glimpse of what Blueprism has or RP has to offer you. Let's not go beyond it and let's go with the course content now. So is it good for everyone? Now just give me a small feedback whether it's good to go or shall I explain more?
You can go ahead.
Good to start.
Okay, fine, thank you. So first I will show you how Blueprism looks like. So this is a typical view of your Blueprism. So if I talk about, it has multiple tabs available: Home, Studio, it's taking some time, Control, Dashboard, this is Dashboard, this is Release, this is System. So whatever you can do from the top tabs, you can do using these buttons also. So Home is something which is home for everyone, for any kind of user, whether it's admin user, developer, or business user. This is a control available for them where they can see what all we have in this tool to offer, like how many process has been automated or how many tables we have, workforce availability. Studio is something you can say a area for developers there where they will design the thing. Whatever the process you want to automate, definitely you have to write a sequence of steps for them. This is the area for you. Control, this is something for admin guys where whatever you have created, when you want this to work, you will work in this area. You will create session for them. You will attach process to a you can say a bot here. Dashboard is something for business guys where they can see again whatever you were able to see at home, similar things, but you can have more and better reports here. This releases area, this is something for whatever you have done. Now you have to release it. Means it's not like that you have created something and at development machine it will be directly put into production. So it has one area to make a package whatever you want to move to production. So here you will create a package what you want to, you will create a package and you will share with the admin guys, and admin guy will place it there again so that it can be moved to production. System is one area for any kind of settings, whether it's a process level, object level, any kind of resources, work queues, security, audit. Audit means whatever the logs it's making during the execution, and we will come to these points during the course of our session. You will get more about it. So if I go with this course, it's talking about, first we should talk about process studio and process flow. So first we need to discuss process studio. So let's start up. So this is the studio area where any of the developer will start working. So it has two categories, processes and objects. So whatever I am writing, you can see web chair and everything, this is what you are creating. So by default you can see two items in the tree, processes and objects. What's the difference between them? Process is something which is real. If I open any of the process, it looks like a Visio diagram. So it has some blocks to drag and drop here. I can show you how to drag and drop like this. So it has a lot of blocks to get drag and drop. So this is just like a Visio diagram. So why we need it? So Process Studio is an area to orchestrate. When I say orchestrate, it's just to define a process how my structure will move from here to there. So whatever I want to achieve, I have to write a sequence of steps. So those sequence of steps I will define it process. So what is there in objects? It almost looks the same like Process Studio. No difference you can identify. So I will tell you what are the differences. So read, write, navigate, code, wait. These are some options which are only available at object level, not at process level. So why they are not available at the process level and only available at object level? And this is another button, or you can say, which is only available at object level, object modeler. So what's the difference? The major difference is that whatever you want to write, means whenever we want to integrate with the end system, we will do this through Object Studio. But whenever we have something just to define the process, then we will do through the Process Studio. So you can say you have object is at micro level and process is at higher level or macro level. So you will keep on defining the things at object level, and finally you will utilize them at process level and to give them a sequence. So it's when I talk to somebody, means when I said that it requires coding also to own minimal coding. So this is the area object where if somebody wants to code, he can use this task. So what's the suggested approach? That whatever, if you have 5 end system to connect with, and you might have to do some kind of manipulation also, so you can create different objects for them. If the people who are aware about .NET or any of the OOPS language, it's just like object. Whenever you create a new object, I'm just creating a new class, and whatever action I'm defining, I'm just defining new methods or function to that class. When we say initialize, cleanup, you can think of them right like a constructor and cleanup like a destructor. So this is nothing fancy about it. And it's not like that, like you can see the data SQL server here. It's not a it has many actions inside it, many. So it's not like that I have created it. These are provided by Blueprism itself. So at any moment I want to use them, I can import them and export. If I have created some custom component for anybody to use, I can create them and share with them. So this is the area where things become reusable. So at any moment, if you want to add something from which has been provided by Blueprism, you can use this import command and find the similar. And whatever you are doing here, when we say these objects, these are stored in the form of XML. If I write and export it, sorry, so I can export it. So let's go into this process studio mode, what it has to offer us. So let's go beyond. Let's first create a new process. Let's call it basic process. Basic process for Asha 24. So now we have this. Here you can see it's empty. As soon as you will start modifying this, it will just keep on recording the history, at what time, who did this, and what's the summary of it. So the people who are aware about the code repository or like TFS, SVN, this is something like that. Any moment you are saving it, it's automatically creating a history for you. It's not like that you need to do a check-in kind of thing separately. One constraint that you will feel with this, that no two users, not multiple users can access it at one moment. At one moment, if one guy is doing it, other machine, it's locked. So that's a constraint with Blueprism at this moment. So now I have created a process, it's empty now. So first I will introduce you with the buttons. This is something to run it. If it's running, then this button is to pause it. If people who are aware about means the Visual Studio, they would be able to correlate that if these buttons are similar to if you want to go inside the code, come outside the code, or step out of the code. This is something to reset. If you are at this stage now and you want to reset to the start state, this button is to reset. This is the thing where I will validate our thing, whether my process has some kind of error or not. If I click here, it will show me that it's missing a link. Okay, so again, these things are very much common to any of the Windows application, like to save it, to print it, to cut, paste, undo, redo, zoom, just changing the font and size and everything. So these are the blocks available with me. If I do a link between this and this and just do a, you can see that error has gone. So this is the place where we can validate whether our process is error free or not. If I remove it, I can see the error is appearing again. So what the blocks it has to offer me, I will just give you a glimpse at this moment, then I will tell you detailed information. This pointer is something I have to do if I want to do some kind of selection or something, because if I am using this kind of link, after that I want to do this thing, it will just give me only options of links, no option like I can't select it. So any moment I want to select it, I have to go this. Link is just something which will create a link between two blocks. Process, no, before that it's block. I will come to this block box. It will just, it has two purpose. Sorry. when you say block, it will just give a block to me so that I can wrap my two, means it's a container kind of thing, but it has a specific purpose when we use the exceptions. Process. So whatever I'm creating here, it's a process. So when I will say I want, this is the main page, so how the things will work here, like any programming language, we have main function and we have child functions. The similar manner it will happen. So whenever we call a process, it will start from the start button of main page. After that, we can have our child pages here. I can add a new page, I can call it here, I do whatever I want to do. So this is the main page. Any moment I have created a process, I want that process to be reused. So at any moment, if I call this process, it gives me option to call a child process here, which process I want. So in basic, I want to call the web challenge, or I want to call this process again, means for some kind of recursion or something like that. Just a very vague example. So this is for that purpose. Then page, when like a process, it is a separate entity, but I want to call a small child page of this process, I can use this. At this moment, it's asking me whether I want to add a new page and reference it, or I want to reference an existing page. Then action stage. This stage is there if I want to call something in Object Studio here. So whatever, if I created a action there in Object Studio and I want to call it here, I can use it. So can you see that whatever the object I create, like a data SQL server is there, if I want to call any of the action of decision. So whatever you saw earlier, like process, page, and action, these are something to call something a child of it. But if you want to write something here only, then you have these stages like choice, calculation, multicalc, data item, collection, loop, note, anchor, and alert. This alert is something here which is, I think you will not find in process. Oh, sorry, Object Studio. Exception, recover, and resume. So I will go to them one by one. So when we say decision, it's like if else block. So at any moment, if something is, whatever condition you have given is true, do this, otherwise else do this. Choice is something like you can say switch case in your programming language. So whenever we have multiple options with decision, like if this as this, so whenever we have if elif kind of scenario, we can use choice. Calculation, any kind of expression you are writing in your code. Like, can you see here that it has choice and one otherwise? As soon as I will keep on adding the choice here, it will show me more nodes here, like anchor tags, and I can connect them. Calculation stage. If I want to assign something, I want to read something, that's the calculation stage. And whenever I have multiple calculation stage in sequence, I don't want to write multiple blocks, because whenever I'm writing in the code, I can write multiple lines, but it's the same thing. But when I'm adding multiple blocks for the something which is 5 times means you say I want to write 5 lines of code that is doing five calculation. Either I have to write 5 calc blocks there, or I can use multi-calc block just to squeeze them up in looking with it so that it looks nicer. Data item. Data item is something you can say variables. Whatever you are declaring in your programming language, any kind of variable, so we call it data item here. Collection. Collection is again, as the name suggests, collection of similar type of elements like an array in our any kind of programming language, but it has a broader scope here. It's, you can say it's a 2D array. At any moment, it's not 1D array. It's not like the similar elements. It has columns and rows like a matrix. Loop. Loop is again not exactly for loop, it's a for each loop. So at any moment, if you drag and drop loop here, it has loop start and end. And if I click here, it will ask me which collection I want to iterate through. It's a for each kind of statement. Note is just a block for any kind of notes if I want to give. Anchor. Okay. If I want to connect this block with this block, let me do that. It's look a very bad shape. So what's option here? I can put a node here, and just to give a better look and feel to my process or object. So just a node. Alert is any moment I just want to send any alert. So I will come to this later stage. Exception. During entire execution, I might face some exception. What is an exception? Like something which is not expected. Okay. So like I was calling a database server with whatever through this objects, that SQL Server objects I received from Blueprism, and during that, consider that my connection sync was not okay or that server was down. So definitely my object will throw an exception that it was not able to connect or it was not able to execute, whatever it is. So what should I do here? So should I hang and just wait for it to be up, or just I should keep my bot in hanging state? No. We should catch the exception, recover from it, and resume it. So whenever I say exception, this block is to raise it, not catch it. Recover is something to catch it. Resume is to resume it, that I have got it in a perfect manner. I want to resume from here. So you guys got some idea about it? Just a quick feedback to me I want to have. Hello?
Yeah, in a high level.
Yes, you got some idea that how we can correlate this to any kind of programming language. I will not say that a guy should not have any knowledge, but basic knowledge what the things are required. No problem if somebody doesn't have any knowledge about programming language, I will explain any moment.
Okay.
Okay. So far so good, or any challenge or any doubt, please let me know. For everyone.
I hope if you go one by one, then we'll understand more about it.
Okay. Sure. Thank you. So for time being, I am just removing this whatever I have added extra. Let's open the process from the basic manner. So whenever I talk about these blocks like process, page, and action, these are something to call some kind of child objects. Child objects or child process or child page. I will use them at later stages whenever I have something available as a children. Before that, I will use these stages: is decision, choice, calculation, multi-cap, data item, just to create a something, and finally create a child and call it here. So let's start with, let me open this diagram, course content once again. So how to run a process, basic skills, process validation, decision. Okay. Okay, let me do one thing. Let's start with the first, before anybody can act over any kind of data, let's create a data. Let's call it data item. I'm dropping here. Let me give it name is, you can say, message, and let me define its type as text. It's like you're defining a variable of type string and giving it an value of empty. I need not to define, I'm just giving for just reference purpose. Okay. at any moment, if I am able to see any value here, it's saying that what's the current value. So because it's not running state, so its value is empty. Now let me manipulate this value in the calc stage. So this is my calc stage. Whatever I have, all the variables available, I can see them because it was a part of it was under the umbrella of text, so I can see under this text. So I can drag and drop here. I want to write hello world. I need not to put any semicolons or anything. So whenever I say validate, okay, let's do like this. So what it's going to do, whatever the expression is there, it will get stored in this place. So I want, at any moment, I just want to evaluate it. So it's saying that the result is hello world. So at this moment, this button doesn't gives you much information, but when you have some kind of parameterized way, so you can have a better information here just to test it. So validate button is to validate whether it has, it's syntactically correct or not. If I remove this, so it says that it's missing. So now what I'm doing, just assigning a hello world string to this message text. Okay, so by default its value is empty. This calc stage, which I will rename it to say that assign value. At this moment, if I see errors are still there because there is no connection between them. So let's connect. Yeah, one more thing. This link button means any button I'm using it. So once I'm pressing it, it's pressed. So if I am connecting here to here, here to there, I need to connect this button. Press this button again and again. Okay, so this is a reset button. So this will bring control to the start stage once again. So let's see what it has to do. So this is the area where I will start this process. So it provides us three speeds: fast, normal, and slow. Let's run at the slow speed at this moment. This is for the debugging purpose, not for the real purpose. So at any debugging purpose, you can see that value has been changed to hello world. So this is nothing is happening here. It's just executing those steps. It has only one line of code to execute. This is start and stop, just to give you a start to our process and just ending it. And here in between, you are just changing your data item to its value. So if you see, by default initial values are empty and current value is hello world. So you got to know that this data item is just a placeholder or like a variables in our any programming language. And whenever we use calc stage, it's just we want to do something with the data on any kind of manipulation. So you got an idea, and whenever we say data item, it can have multiple types. Date, which is, date is there. Date time is which is a combination of date and time. When I say time, it's only time, and I'm sure time span, it's a difference between two dates or times. Flag, again a bool. Number, again an integer or double, whatever it's a number. Password is just to give you a ciphered kind of text to it. Text is again string. Image, binary. So most of the time you will deal with the text, date, time, date time, or the number and flag, but you have option to have your image and binary things also. When I say hide it from other pages, it's something you are making it private. And when you say reset to initial value whenever the page runs, so this is something just for debugging purpose, that any moment that page will run, it will reset to the initial value empty. So this was all about data item, because although in the sequence it comes at the later stage, but if you don't have any data item, so I think you will not able to understand how the things are working, because you always need a placeholder. Okay, so far so good. Just a small hands up from your side.
Yeah, we're good.
Okay, so this was a single placeholder, right? What next when we have array kind of structure or collection? Let's see what collection has. So it has one first tab as fields, where I can have multiple columns defined to it. Then initial value is current value. Here it has separate tabs for it, because when we have collection, it's not like one value, it would have multiple values, right? Again, reset and hide, the same thing. So let's create a collection of type. You can say student. Okay, so I have a field name, and it's of type text. Then I have a field with a name. You can say role. I can say it's again text. Then I have the mobile number. And one thing good about it, good about Blueprism, that it will allow spaces. So this is the structure of my field, my collection. At any moment, if I add a row, you can see it. So I can create a row with a name like Tom, role developer, mobile number 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 0. I will come to this point also, that where you need to put double quotes, where you need not. So at this moment, it's just a plain text, you need not to, because it's aware that it's a string. But at some places you might have to put double quotes. I will tell you what all these areas are. Like whenever we are assigning hello world, I put double quotes. So these are the initial values, and the current values are empty. So everything similar to data item, but only difference was that it has multiple columns to showcase you. And at any moment we can put a single row kind of option is there. Whenever I want that this collection would have only single row. This is it has a benefit that it gives a empty row at initial stage. So any moment I want to look through it, so I have something. It will not break that it doesn't have anything. So this was and it has option of import fields also. If you have some class already available, or you can say some means not class actions are already available, and you want to import it, you don't want to define again and again, so you can just import it from there. Please let me know if I'm missing something, and this is description area just to describe what this collection is all about. Okay, so far so good. So did you see the difference? Previously it was showing empty. Once I reset it, it's showing me row 1 of 1. And what it has done, this reset, it has brought the control back to the start stage. Let me run this once again. If I try to run it from this stage, it will again, nothing is happening, because it's already at the last of it, so it doesn't have anything to run. Many times it can give you an error that there is no stage to run, so at that moment you need to reset it. So you would have seen that value change from empty to hello world, and when I reset it will change back to empty. Or if I say, let's not use word empty here, I can use a word No value, so that you can see no value here, and it's assigning a value to it. Fine. So far so good. So we got data item, which is a single placeholder, collection with a multiple placeholder, or you can say table kind of structure, or a 2D app. Fine, let's go ahead of it. What now you saw the calc stage also. So does calc is only to this area only, or it has some many things to offer? I will show them. So you can see here that your collection is visible here under collections, text are visible. So can you find the difference that this student.mobile number is available here as well as here, but I defined it one place. So whenever it wants to read the first value, you can read directly from here. Otherwise, whenever you want to use collection in the means to use it in form of enumeration, then you can use this student. It has few things at the lower side also, like functions. When we say function, it has some inbuilt things to have it. Like let's do one thing. Let me open all of them. Okay, if I want that, I should want to read the, I have this string available with me. If I want to do any kind of manipulation and I want to use some kind of inbuilt functions, these are, or you can say inbuilt functions available for different categories. Like I have my date time in the format of string. I want to convert it into real date time, or time, date, or days. I want to calculate the number of days. These are the few functions available. So either we can use it, or we can create our custom things in the form of objects and utilize them in the form of actions. Yeah, now let me tell you in what cases you will do double quotes, in what cases you will not. Whenever you are able to see this expression, definitely it will expect you do some kind of expression here. It's not here, because the field was of type message, so you were able to see. Okay, let's do one thing. I don't want a string here, I want only a number here, and I want to change it. So either I have to create a new data item, or other shortcut to it is like number. I will use num. I write here and I click here. So it created a data item for me under numbers category num. It was able to understand what kind of expression it has, so it is able to understand it. So if I click here, can you see that new data item has been created, and I am not able to move it. Why? Because I am using the link. If any moment I want to select it, I have to do this. So I have this num data item available, automatically created by default. Initial value nothing, current value nothing, exposure means something internally created. And if I run this step now, can you see that it has assigned value 1 to it? Because inside it, I didn't put in double quotes. Automatically, it will just assign this value to this. And evaluate expression, it will simply say that result equal to 1. Now you are able to see hard codings are there. That's why it's not very much fancy to you. But in the later stage, you will see that how we can write bigger and bigger things out of it. So now you saw what are data items, what are collections, and little glimpse of calc stage. So this was the course of content that we are supposed to cover today. Rest of the things we will discuss tomorrow. Anybody wants to ask any question about this, please let me know. Please feel free, don't hesitate.
should we have a hands-on on this? Then only we'll come to know if we get any
That means
challenges.
okay, that's good. Anybody have any kind of theoretical doubt about it? Please let me know at this moment. Definitely, we can take your queries tomorrow also. But if somebody has some doubt, and don't keep that burden on your head for one day, just tell me now at this moment.
Yeah, one general question like there are some chat bots and all. Is Blueprism handle even that?
Chatbots are slightly different from what we say about this RPA. RPA is something that you are mimicking it. So definitely you can achieve that chatbot kind of functionality here also. But
Okay.
for that you must have some kind of chat window in front of it. It will read it and try to mimic you. But when we
Okay.
say there is nothing UI within it, you have a chatbot, like you can say somebody chatbots in somebody's opening hdfcbank.com and they are able to see one chatbot in front of it. It might be case that at the back end there is no UI for any kind of bot to work on. It's something happening only with the back end. But whenever some kind of bot is there which is mimicking it, we call it exactly RPA. Chatbot is one kind of RPA feature. Did I answer your question?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else wants to ask anything?
Is it a prerequisite to learn .NET to learn IPA?
No. Like I showed you here, I didn't write even a single line of code. It's not prerequisite, but when I say at least you should be able to understand the basics of any programming language if you want to be in this field of developer. Because when we say I defined few roles here. Okay, so there are few roles available. If somebody is good in algorithm, that he knows how to use variables, how to use loops, then developer is a good area for him. But if you are not from this kind of background or doesn't know variables, loops, just let me know. I will help you to understand. It's not like that nobody can be a developer. Means you are not from this background, you can't be a developer. No issues. Just let me know that I don't understand anything. Let me know from the scratch. What is a data item? What's a variable? What is a loop? I will help you to understand. But please shout and let me know that this is my query. I don't understand even a single line of it. Please let me know. I will explain from the scratch.
Thank you.
And when we say .NET, it's not restricted with this few calculations and variables. .NET is very big area. It has its web, it has its Windows, it has its WPF, it has WCF services, it has a hell lot of things. So whenever we saw .NET, any moment you want to do any, I will show you at this moment. Like I am opening whatever they have written for. This is something provided by Blueprism itself. Can you see a code written here? So this is something. If at any moment you want to do something beyond the normal execution, then you need a code block of it, and you must have some knowledge about it. How a connection, SQL connection is being made, how to open it, how to put try catch. These are few things. This is something I'm not showing I made it. This is something shared by Blueprism for any kind of means whatever you are able to do, they will keep providing you more and more component. But whenever you are working in a real world scenario where you are working with a company and they want you to do, but they will not expect that you will ask Blueprism to provide it. If whatever you need, you make it.
Yeah, other than .NET, will it support another languages?
At this moment, it supports only .NET, so it supports three languages of it: C#, J#, and VB.NET. I'm not sure whether C sharp is J sharp or F sharp, but it's supposed C sharp and VB.NET. Apart from that, it was, I think, J sharp or F sharp. I don't remember exactly. During the course, we will see it,
Sure.
but not beyond .NET at this moment. Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah. Anybody else having any question? Please feel free to ask. Shall I close
It's
the
a
session? Yeah, please. Sorry.
new version of SQL, right? Or SQL 2008 only. Currently, we are using SQL 2012. Will it support?
Means when you talk about working with the SQL and BP
Yes.
connection,
Yes.
yeah, it will support. No problem with that. Actually, what it's doing nothing. Whatever you are writing here, whatever things you are writing, it's finally being saved into a SQL memory. So
Okay.
version of SQL will not make much difference, because it's not like that you are using a big features of SQL.
Mhm.
So that's whatever you're creating here, you're saving it there at any moment, so that you can have multiple clients to access it, like multiple developers want to work on different things. This is single repository for everything, whatever you're doing on BP.
Okay.
What else? Anybody? So can we end our session for today?
Okay. When can we expect tool to be installed in our system? Like,
Sorry, come again.
when can we expect the tool to be installed in our system? To
Oh,
start with hands-on, yeah.
that thing you have to check with Asha 24 guys. Even I will
Okay.
inform them that you are expecting tools to be available with them. But whatever we covered, that was pretty basic, so it's not very big stuff. So even if it take 1 or 2 days, I think you can accommodate it, because whatever
Yeah.
we covered, it was hardly take 10 to 15 minutes for anybody to just recap it. I will inform Asha 24 guys once again that guys are expecting tools to be available with them. So I will convey your message. In parallel, you can also communicate with them.
Yeah, sure, I'll do that.
Fine, guys.
Okay. Okay, thank
Okay.
you.
Thank you very much.